Today's Philadelphia Eagles Now is presented by Roan. If you're looking for high-quality menswear that has you covered from the golf course to the office, Roan has you covered. And this deal, it's great for the Fly Eagles Fly family. 20% off your order at roan.com/chatsports. Promo code chatsports for that deal to apply. I'm wearing their commuter shirt right here on today's show. As for what we're getting into on today's show, Philadelphia Eagles injury news. Philadelphia losing a special teams ace as Zech McPhearson out for the year with the torn Achilles. And the big topic of conversation in Philadelphia this morning, should the Eagles cut Marcus Mariota and bring back Super Bowl 52 MVP Nick Foles? All of that coming your way, but first our poll question, should the Eagles cut Mariota and sign Foles? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I know this is going to get the people going, so share what you're thinking in that comment section. As for the latest Eagles injury news, they got banged up in that game against the Cleveland Browns last night. Appreciate everybody who tuned into the watch party. If you did, give me a real one down below. Moro Ojomo carted off the field with a neck injury. A couple of scary moments with him as well as Tyrie Cleveland, who also got carted off with a neck injury. Nolan Smith left the game early to go to the locker room with a shoulder injury. He had a great first quarter. He's going to be fine. He said as much after the game. Olamide Zaccheaus also went to the locker room with a shoulder ailment. He came back to the sideline with the shoulder pads on. Josh Andrews, the backup center, who's been getting more second-team reps, he got hurt with an ankle. And then the big news here for Philadelphia, this is major for a couple of reasons. Zech McPhearson gone for the year with a torn Achilles. This is the second consecutive week in which Philadelphia has lost a key member of their special teams unit to a season-ending injury and an Achilles injury. Last week against Baltimore, it was Temple University's own Sean Bradley who tore his Achilles, and last night, Zech McPhearson, originally a fourth-round pick out of Texas Tech in 2021, primarily a special teams player throughout his career. Week 1 last year, he actually won Special Teams Player of the Week and led the Eagles in special team snaps in 2022 with 362. What this means for Philadelphia moving forward, of course, the special teams unit, which going into this year was a question mark, takes another hit because you're now down 2 special team aces. I don't say that lightly. Zech McPhearson, a vital gunner on that special teams unit, the special teams player of the week last year in week 1, and this now at cornerback opens up a spot for some of the young, impressive rookies to maybe make this team, and then another younger player in the form of Josiah Scott. The player with the inside track to replace Zech McPhearson, who is one of the top backup set cornerback alongside Josh Jobe, after, of course, Darius Slay and James Bradbury, Mario Goodrich. He has received first-team reps at nickel throughout training camp this year. I really like what I've seen from Eli Ricks. He had the pick 6 week 1 of the preseason against Baltimore, cooled off a little bit last night. The play that went for a touchdown, honestly, I thought it was good defense, better offense. He got his hand in there. Receiver just made a really good bobbling catch. So Eli Ricks, Mario Goodrich, 2 players who are young, UDFA rookies who I like. Mekhi Garner, another young player, and a rookie UDFA out of LSU has an opportunity to maybe slide into a roster spot. Then Josiah Scott, who last year replaced Avonte Maddox when Maddox went down at that nickel spot late in the season. Be sure to subscribe to the show. Last night, able to pick up a couple hundred more subscribers. When Eagles injury news happens, we cover it. When there's a big Eagles item out there, like Hassan Reddick yesterday, undergoing surgery with that thumb, we're going to slice it up and discuss it. Anything that happens with this football team, year-round and daily, we have you covered here on the show. In addition to rumors, analysis, insight, film breakdowns, live shows, watch parties, you get the deal by now. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers. Hit that sub button. Coming up next on the show, the big topic of conversation. Should the Philadelphia Eagles cut Marcus Mariota and bring back Nick Foles? We're also going to take a look at the other top backup quarterbacks who are available for Philadelphia in free agency. Then I'm going to hit you with some more Eagles-Browns takeaways. Last night we talked about our winners and losers. Go back and watch that video. I'd certainly appreciate that. But I told you, right off the rip, Philadelphia Eagles Now is presented by Roan. Get 20% off your order at roan.com/chatsports. Promo code chatsports for that deal to apply. I love the shirt that I'm rocking here, and I love all of Roan's products because, as I mentioned, they have everything where you can go out on a date, you can hit the town with your homies, take down a couple of drinks, you can hit the golf course, you can host shows here at Chat Sports, or if you're kicking it right now, watching this show in a cubicle, and you don't think your style is up to par, hop on board the momentous Roan train. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention. Roan stepped up to the challenge. They have those products for every occasion. The Roan Commuter Collection, and I'm wearing their commuter button-up right now, has the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. And with the Roan Commuter Collection, you never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan Commuter Collection. Mobility is everything. I personally love clothing items that have that stretchy fabric. That's what Roan has to offer. It's the four-way stretch fabric that provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy whatever life throws your way. And if you think about it, you invest in these products over time, you save money over time because you no longer have to take these shirts or their pants to the dry cleaner because they have wrinkle release technology. The more you wear these products, the wrinkles disappear. We're going to put that link in the comments section and in the description of this video. You know the motto: look good, feel good, play good. Like the Eagles were last night in those crispy whites, like me on today's show, rocking the crispy white. Let's get to the topic of conversation that is certainly popular on the Eagles rumor streets. Could Philadelphia cut Marcus Mariota? He has struggled all training camp up to this point and hasn't instilled any confidence in this coaching staff, in the fan base, that if Jalen Hurts were to get injured, he can step in and win you a couple of ball games. Because in 2 preseason games, he hasn't done anything to really move the needle outside of running the football, but you have to win from the pocket in this league, and Marcus Mariota has continued to fail to do that. If there's a city out there among all NFL fan bases that knows how valuable a backup quarterback is, it's the city of Philadelphia. The Eagles, because of that, and the injury attrition at that quarterback position, have willingly invested in backup quarterbacks. And in my lifetime, we have seen a handful of backup quarterbacks be thrust into action in some critical moments, thrown in the pressure cooker, and they've been able to deliver. Koy Detmer, A.J. Feely, Jeff Garcia, Michael Vick, Nick Foles winning Super Bowl MVP against the New England Patriots, taking down Bill Belichick as well as Tom Brady. And you think about all these players on the screen here. Koy Detmer had to step in a couple of times at the start of Andy Reid's regime. A.J. Feely, also at the start of Andy Reid's regime, had to come in for Donovan McNabb when he broke that ankle. He played really well. Jeff Garcia, once again replacing Donovan McNabb after the Eagles shifted over from Veterans Stadium to Lincoln Financial Field, really helped resurrect that Eagles season. They won a playoff game against the New York Giants after David Akers hit that game-winning field goal, nearly beat the New Orleans Saints in the divisional round. Kevin Cobb then goes down Week 1 in 2010, while rocking the Kelly Green jerseys. Michael Vick comes in to replace him under Andy Reid, goes on to have an MVP-level season. He was the starter for a couple of years, and then that helped the Eagles segue from Andy Reid to Chip Kelly. And then, of course, it's very well documented what Nick Foles was able to do. An NFL best touchdown-interception ratio at the start of Chip Kelly's tenure in his first year in Philadelphia, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. He leaves, doesn't do anything. He comes back and leads the Eagles on a magical run in 2017 after Carson Wentz shredded his knee. Okay in the playoff game against Atlanta. Great against the Vikings as he carved them up. Foles comes in the Super Bowl, and he was chucking dimes against the New England Patriots. Year after that, helps lead the Eagles once again to the playoffs when Carson Wentz was injured, as the Eagles basically had to win out in that December, and they were an Alshon Jeffrey drop, in my opinion, away from making it back to a second consecutive NFC Championship game. And when you think about Jalen Hurts has been injured the past 2 Decembers. That's not a rip on him. That's just the reality of the situation. Luckily for us, he hasn't missed a lot of time. in those Decembers. But he has been hurt, and a backup quarterback has had to come in to replace him. And right now, we have no confidence that Marcus Mariota can be that guy. The Philadelphia Eagles, if they do decide to cut him, might have to eat some money. Upon signing with the Birds, they gave him $5 million in guaranteed money. But just because of the price tag, and just because Philadelphia gave him that guaranteed money, doesn't mean that because of that price tag, they're going to operate like a cheap organization, because they're not, and just keep them because of the financial incentive. They understand Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, who have both been with this organization since we talked about really all those backup quarterbacks. They know the importance of that backup spot. Now, is Tanner McKee capable? Maybe in the future he's capable. I love what I've seen from the rookie, pushing the ball downfield, throwing with timing, accuracy, anticipation. Some of the back shoulder balls that he threw last night to Deon Cain and Tyrie Cleveland, which weren't completed, were excellent big boy throws. And he kind of moves a little bit like Nick Foles. But being QB2, and if Jalen Hurts were to get hurt, being thrust into a role for a Super Bowl contender as a rookie is rich. It very rarely works as far as success. Last year, a mirage with Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers, Ben Roethlisberger back in the day, but it's few and far between. And when you think about Nick Foles here, some of the positives that he would bring this team, he gets rid of the ball quickly, important in this offense. He's very accurate, also an important element of this offense. Philadelphia, while Foles might have a diminished skill set, does have great weapons with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, very good offensive line, which is still, in my opinion, the best in the NFL, with the semblance of backs in that running back room who are really good. Nick Foles wouldn't be nervous at the big moment because he has a bunch of big game experience. The latter part here is where we have to have a realistic conversation. Nick Foles, since leaving Philadelphia once again, hasn't really done much. Is he just washed? He didn't look good with the Chicago Bears. He didn't look good with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, him being a part of this environment could certainly help bring the best out of Nick Foles, and he has even admitted, I wish I never left Philadelphia. And every time he's been with the Eagles, he's played well. So is it a situation-by-situation type situation and basis here in which Nick Foles just feels comfortable in Philadelphia? The offensive coaching staff, whether it's Doug Peterson and now Nick Sirianni, has or can put him in a position to succeed. Chip Kelly, the same thing back in the day. And can he maybe recapture some of that magic if Jalen Hurts were to get hurt? Because let me ask you this question. If you had to win one game, even if you think Nick Foles is washed, who would you have more confidence in? Nick Foles, Marcus Mariota. Right now, I'm going Nick Foles. The other top free agent quarterbacks who are on the market, they don't move the needle for me, like Nick Foles. Carson Wentz, no thank you. Matt Ryan, noodle arm. He's cooked. Tom Brady, he is all across the world right now enjoying retirement. I think it's going to stay that way. Joe Flacco might even be a better option than Marcus Mariota. He was the backup for this team at the start of Nick Sirianni's tenure, so familiarity with this offense. And then Chase Daniel, legendary backup from way back in the day when Carson Wentz first got drafted. He has made a bunch of money and a bunch of bread at that backup quarterback spot. But again, I'd rather have Nick Foles. And I can guarantee you that this was me on my rooftop this morning. I was looking for a good quality Eagles backup quarterback. Howie Roseman was probably doing the same thing because he's seen injury rate at that quarterback spot rob other teams across the National Football League, but not necessarily Philadelphia, because they willingly invest in that position because they understand how important it is and how often quarterbacks get hurt. So Howie Roseman, yours truly, we're out here looking for a backup quarterback because Marcus Mariota ain't cutting it. And I guarantee you, at the NovaCare Complex in South Philadelphia, they're starting to have some of these conversations, and the wheels right now are starting to turn. So we go back to today's poll question. If you haven't answered it, make sure you get those answers in now. Cut Mariota, sign Nick Foles. Would you do it? Y for yes or N for no? Eagles-Browns takeaways now before we hop on out of here. Nolan Smith is a freak. In that first half, I thought that Nolan Smith, the number 30th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, played extremely well. He had that quarterback pressure, which led to Dorian Thompson-Robinson getting sacked. That was the play in which he lined up at left defensive end on the right tackle, was able to really display some of that bend to get around that left tackle to force DTR to step up in the pocket. Then he got sacked. On the reverse, the play by Nolan Smith was a great one, and I threw it up on my Twitter page at Chase_senior, and he tackled Anthony Schwartz. Anthony Schwartz at the NFL Combine 2 years ago ran a sub-4.3 40-yard dash. Nolan Smith was able to get held by a tight end, shed that blocker, and then track down Schwartz. That's a really impressive play that showed off his speed. Number 2, Nakobe Dean can play. And this is why you subscribe to the show, because I've told you over and over and over again that Nakobe Dean might be a better game player as compared to practice player because he plays upon feel. He has great instincts. He's a very heady football player, and he can read plays before they happen. I've said it ad nauseum. Last night, one of the biggest plays of the football game, all of that came to fruition for Nakobe Dean. Let's break down the film. So, the Cleveland Browns, they marched down the field, and after Nakobe Dean had the hit on DTR, defenseless player, the ball is moved up to the 1-yard line. And you see Nakobe Dean with the red circle here. He's playing middle linebacker. And you can see that with DTR under center, lone tailback, bunch formation, this is a running play for the Cleveland Browns. Look at the eyes here of Nakobe Dean. He is sniffing this play out and identifying where the ball carrier is going to go before the snap takes place. We go to the next slide. If you didn't believe me, now you do. Because Nakobe Dean identifies where the run is going, and immediately he shoots the gap. And in a blink, he's in the backfield pretty much untouched. He throws his arm out there, forces the fumble. Eagles get the rock back, and those types of plays can change the complexion of a game. And you know what happens when you make a play like that in that situation, when you're fighting to be this team's starting middle linebacker, and you have an opportunity to become the best off-ball linebacker for this defense and the guy who's been wearing the green dot? You know who believes in you now? A guy like Nick Sirianni, who said, "Hell yeah, Nakobe Dean, way to make a play." And after the game, he said, "That's our guy. He's a very instinctual player. He makes plays like that." Nakobe Dean can play. He just needs to be given an opportunity. He might be undersized, but he can make up for that with his instinctual style. Sidney Brown now. He's a dog. Sidney Brown in week 1 against Baltimore, team high 9 tackles. He was flying around the football field from sideline to sideline, and last night, flying around the football field once again. There was a play in which he came up from deep safety to make a hit on a running back. Boom. Really strong hit. And then on the touchdown, in which Eli Ricks got beat on when he actually put his hand in there and the receiver bobbled the football, Sidney Brown was at the far hash. And he showed off that 4.4 40-yard dash speed by bolting across the field, nearly stripped the ball carrier as he went into the end zone. So Sidney Brown, and this draft class really, with Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Sidney Brown, Tyler Steen, those are 4 picks right there that could potentially change the course of your franchise and help you out with cost-controlled assets while you're still trying to compete for a Super Bowl. I do like Christian Elliss as well. A lot of the same things that I said with Nakobe Dean, Christian Elliss has that to his game as well. Just an instinctual feel for the game. Made a couple of plays against the run and against the pass. And then Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee can sling it. And he does have this Nick Foles type of quality to him going into last college football season. Some people thought that McKee could have been a first-round pick. Now, he dropped because Stanford's offense is awful, and he barely put up any numbers. I don't knock Tanner McKee for playing in that offense. He couldn't display what he was able to do. That's why he lasted until the 7th round. But sometimes at the college level, and sometimes in the pre-draft process, we get way too obsessed with the Anthony Richardsons of the world. Guy threw 17 touchdowns, 9 picks last year, under 60%. But he's a freak athlete. Maybe he can become a good player, and I like the situation he's in now with Shane Steichen. But with Tanner McKee, he's not the athlete that some of these other quarterbacks were, are, or have been in that first round. But what does he do that doesn't necessarily show up at the NFL Combine? Throws with touch, throws with accuracy, throws with pinpoint precision. He has a lot of poise in the pocket. And those are big league NFL qualities that Tanner McKee seems to possess and I'm very intrigued by him. Could be a steal. And again, a cost-controlled asset as a member of this draft class that can help this football team as we propel into the future. If you're still here with us, go Birds. Give me a real one, real John. Appreciate everybody for tuning into the show. And I hope you were all informed today. If you want a Real John shirt, they are available at chatsports.com/realjohn. Kelly green as well as black. Those are the colors available right now with the old school Kelly green text. And feel free to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram. Let me know what you thought of the show. And if you do hit me up, that means that you stuck around. That means that you're a real one. I'm on here at Chase_Senior.